How not sleeping actually kills you. Sleep loss measurably slows your reaction time within a single day. Your attention drifts, and your judgment becomes quietly less reliable. You may feel awake, yet your brain processes information far slower. Studies suggest one sleepless night can mimic mild alcohol impairment. That is the early warning, not the main danger. When sleep debt becomes chronic, the risks spread through your body. Even a small deficit repeats, and the baseline slowly shifts downward. Blood pressure rises more easily, even in young adults. Appetite hormones shift, and cravings feel stronger and louder. Insulin control worsens, making blood sugar less stable overnight. Inflammation increases, and recovery from stress becomes much harder. Over months and years, evidence links short sleep to disease risk. Heart attacks and strokes become more likely with persistent sleep loss. Obesity risk rises partly through hunger and impaired glucose handling. Mood disorders can worsen because emotional regulation depends on sleep. Neurodegeneration risk also increases, including conditions like Alzheimer's disease. Sleep is not optional rest for a busy mind. Sleep is a biological maintenance state for every organ system. During sleep, your brain consolidates learning and stabilizes memories. It also runs a cleanup network called the glymphatic system. That system helps remove waste products made during waking hours. Your immune system recalibrates, reducing unnecessary inflammatory signals. Hormones rebalance, supporting growth, repair, and metabolic control. Deep sleep supports growth hormone release and tissue rebuilding. REM sleep helps emotional processing and stress adaptation. Skipping sleep forces the body to delay essential repair work. You can fight tiredness with caffeine, but not with true recovery. Stimulants raise alertness, yet they do not restore cellular maintenance. Your body responds by borrowing energy from future nights. Eventually, the debt becomes a measurable physiological stressor. At that point, sleep loss stops being discomfort and becomes damage. The unsettling truth is that extreme sleep deprivation can be lethal. You might assume the brain fails first, but research complicates that. Animal studies suggest death may involve organs outside the brain. That finding is strange, yet it fits biology's interconnected design. Scientists cannot ethically test lethal sleep loss in humans, so evidence comes from animal models and careful observation. Early experiments were crude and mixed sleep loss with heavy stress. Those methods confused whether stress or sleeplessness caused deaths. Later designs tried to separate sleep deprivation from constant agitation. In classic rat studies, animals were kept awake by forced movement. Control rats faced similar disruption yet still slept far more. Sleep-deprived rats died despite food intake and apparent effort. Researchers found few clear causes, and brain damage was inconsistent, so attention shifted to other organs that might fail first. More recent work used fruit flies to study sleep deprivation. Flies share many genetic pathways with humans, despite obvious differences. Researchers used targeted neuron control to prevent sleep in flies. Importantly, temperature changes were controlled to avoid heat stress. The result was clear and surprisingly reversible at first. Sleepless flies began dying early, while control flies lived much longer. If sleep was restored soon enough, many flies recovered strongly. That suggested a specific injury was accumulating during sleeplessness. Scientists asked a simple question about the failing organ. They examined many tissues and found a striking pattern. Reactive oxygen species built up dramatically inside the gut. ROS are reactive molecules produced during normal cellular metabolism. In small amounts, your cells can neutralize them safely. When ROS rise too high, they damage proteins, lipids, and DNA. In the sleepless flies, the gut showed the largest ROS buildup. The brain did not show the same extreme accumulation. That pointed to the gut as a critical weak link. It also challenged the assumption that sleep death is brain failure. Next, researchers tested whether gut ROS actually caused death. They reduced ROS while keeping flies awake with the same method. They used antioxidants that neutralize reactive oxygen species directly. Some compounds also increased the fly's own antioxidant defenses. When gut ROS fell, the flies lived far longer. In some cases, lifespan returned near normal despite no sleep. That result suggests ROS were not just a marker. They were a driver of lethal failure under sleep deprivation. However, antioxidants did not create healthy biology in any broad sense. They only prevented one deadly pathway in that model. The exact chain from sleeplessness to gut loss remains unclear. Evidence shows sleep loss can raise oxidative stress in tissues. But why the gut is especially vulnerable is still studied. The gut is an immune organ, not just a food tube. It contains a barrier that keeps microbes and toxins contained. Your gut lining renews fast, and it needs nighttime repair signals. When the barrier weakens, inflammation can spread systemically. ROS can injure that barrier and disrupt cellular energy production. So sleep loss may trigger a cascade from gut damage. Then, infection risk rises, immune control fails, and organs suffer. This is a plausible path, even if details differ across species. In humans, we cannot assume identical mechanisms as fruit flies. Still, the gut link makes clinical sense in several ways. Sleep loss changes the microbiome and alters gut permeability. It also increases inflammatory markers in blood in many studies. Chronic inflammation can injure blood vessels and strain the heart. It can also impair insulin signaling and accelerate metabolic disease. So, a gut-centered mechanism could connect many observed outcomes. Sleep may protect the body by keeping the gut stable. Sleep deprivation also disturbs the nervous system's balance. When you miss sleep, stress circuits stay more active. Cortisol patterns flatten, and nighttime recovery signals weaken. Your body responds by prioritizing quick glucose over long repair. That pushes higher insulin levels and worsens fat storage signals. Meanwhile, appetite increases through ghrelin and reduced leptin sensitivity. The result is more hunger and poorer control, not personal weakness. Willpower cannot override biology when sleep sets the hormonal baseline. Cognition is the first area where you notice the cost. You forget details, misread social cues, and take more risks. Your emotional brakes weaken, so small problems feel much larger. Reaction time slows, which increases accident risk on roads. Microsleeps can occur without warning, even when you resist them. Your immune defenses drop, making infections easier to catch. Researchers also see higher infection rates after even brief sleep restriction. Wounds heal more slowly, and pain sensitivity can rise. Training recovery suffers, and injuries become more likely. These are maintenance failures, stacking on maintenance failures. People sometimes ask if nutrition can replace sleep. Healthy food supports resilience, but it cannot do sleep's job. Antioxidant-rich diets can lower oxidative stress in general, but evidence does not show humans can bypass sleep safely. The fruit fly antioxidant result is not a license to ignore sleep. In people, high-dose supplements can also carry risks. Some antioxidants can interfere with exercise adaptations and signaling. So the practical message remains simple and uncomfortable. You cannot hack away a basic biological requirement. If you sleep poorly for weeks, get evaluated seriously. Sleep apnea, chronic pain, anxiety, and medications can drive insomnia. Breathing pauses at night can strain the heart and brain. Treating the cause can improve energy and reduce long-term risk. If you work nights, protect consistent sleep windows whenever possible. Control light exposure, reduce late caffeine, and keep a cool room. Build routines that tell your nervous system it is safe. These steps support sleep, but they are not instant cures. The deeper lesson is about respect for biology. Your body repairs itself on a schedule written by evolution. Sleep is when that repair work is allowed to happen. When you protect sleep, many other health choices become easier. Without it, damage accumulates in ways you cannot feel early. The gut may become a hidden failure point under extreme deprivation. The brain may not explode, yet the body can still collapse. That is why sleep loss can kill, even without obvious warning. Sleep is a requirement, not a lifestyle preference. If you want health, you must protect sleep like medicine. Choose sleep as protection, not as a reward for finishing tasks. Share this message with someone who treats sleep as optional. And subscribe if you want more calm biology, not hype.